Now, from your breaking news and weather authority, WITN News Sunday Sunrise.
Breaking news this morning, NC-12 is closed along the Outer Banks until further notice following a fatal accident in the work zone there involving a DOT employee. And thousands were in Carteret County Saturday afternoon to attend the Morehead City Veterans Day Parade. We'll take you there coming up. But first, thanks for joining us this Sunday morning at 7 a.m. I'm Cassandra Bell.
And I'm meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht. We were talking about it yesterday. We could say goodbye to the frost, but there was a threat of some patchy fog, and we are seeing some of that out there this morning.
Oh, yeah. I came in earlier and could see fine, stepped outside to get the paper, and boom, it's like a blanket.
It's pretty thick in some areas, especially low-lying areas. Here's a look going back just the last 10 hours. See temperatures just now falling into the upper 30s. I figured we'd stay above freezing, hover right about 40 degrees. We are still slightly below average with our lows, and yeah, those dew points coming up and meeting the temperature. That's where we're getting that fog starting to develop. But we'll talk about this afternoon where we go from here coming up in a little bit.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. We do have breaking news this morning. NC-12 is closed now until further notice following a fatal accident there in the work zone involving an NCDOT employee. Now, the name of the employee is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. The accident happened approximately just south of Bonner Bridge in an area where crews were working to remove sand in the wake of Hurricane Sandy and the recent nor'easter that hit the Outer Banks. The North Carolina Highway Patrol and NCDOT officials are investigating the accident. NC-12 will remain closed pending the outcome of that investigation. Well, the Onslow County Sheriff's Office is investigating an accidental shooting they say happened Saturday night. Officials say it happened at about 10 p.m. in the White Oak community on the east side of the county. Deputies are in the early stages of the investigation, but they say the victim was a female who suffered an injury to her upper thigh. Of course, we will bring you more details as they become available. Well, thousands were in Carteret County Saturday afternoon to attend the Morehead City Veterans Day Parade. This year, November 10th, not only marked the day of the annual parade, but also the Marine Corps' 237th birthday. 5 local high school bands played in the parade along with 183 different floats. And more than 2,000 people participated in the 17th annual parade.
It definitely makes you appreciate why you do it. You know, it definitely re-emphasizes why I get up and go to work every morning and why we do what we do.
Well, the parade took place along Arundel Street with around 25,000 people turning out to support our veterans. Well, an island on the Crystal Coast cut off from the mainland earlier this week. It's not only an inconvenience for residents, but could also present a safety issue. Alize Poise explains.
Now, from your breaking news and weather authority, you're watching WITN News Sunday Sunrise.
The death toll from a meningitis outbreak has now killed a person in North Carolina. We'll have all the updates from the CDC. And a Pitt County basketball coach is doing well this morning after receiving a new kidney over the weekend. We'll have those details ahead. Well, good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. I'm Alize Poise, filling in for Cassandra Bell. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing all right. We got great conditions. In fact, yesterday we had great weather, also had a great result. ECU victorious. They took down UAB, and they're looking for possibly, of course, they got one loss in the conference. Hopefully, a loss to another certain team will put them in first place. So 9 a.m. 50 degrees, 10 a.m. 55 degrees, noontime temperature 63 degrees. High today about 68 degrees. A little chilly this morning, but it will get a little bit colder through the overnight hours. We'll talk about that.
Oh, but so dress up warm for your meteor shower.
I think
tonight.
so. Yeah, we got some meteors out there tonight into tomorrow. We'll talk about that all coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Sure.
Appreciate it. More and more people are dying from an outbreak of fungal meningitis. Now someone here from our state has died from the disease. The Center for Disease Control announced that 2 more people have died, bringing the total to 23. The CDC couldn't identify the victim, but we do know they are from Davidson County, and that's near Goldsboro. The number of people infected has gone up to 284. Federal investigators have linked the outbreak to contaminated steroid shots. The shots were made at the New England Compounding Center in Massachusetts, which is now under investigation. William Knight, a Pitt County basketball coach, is recovering well after getting a new kidney over the weekend. This is a story we first told you about on Monday. It was back in February when a player on his team was determined to help. After months of prayers and fundraisers, Coach Knight got his new kidney. Brittany Creamer spoke with him in the hospital.
D.H. Conley basketball coach William Knight sits in his room at Vidant Medical Center in Greenville recovering from a kidney transplant, something he calls a blessing.
The goodness of God, what he can do for you, and regardless how bad things get or how low you get, there's a blessing there somewhere. I know that.
Another blessing came when one of his players, Olivia Dunn, learned of his chronic kidney disease and his need for a new kidney. Since he gave her a second chance to play basketball on his JV team, she wanted to give him a second chance and started a website to raise awareness to help him.
To be careful what you say to people. You never know who you need in life, and you never know who's going to give you that last drink of water. So God works in mysterious ways.
A donor match was found through Carolina Donor Services Sunday. That's when Knight and his family got the call, one they had waited for since 2009.
My wife and I kept everything quiet until we knew I had the kidney.
Hours later, Coach Knight was on the road to recovery with his new kidney, along with a will to never quit.
My mom always told me tomorrow's another day, and that day always came. I never had any doubt or that my family, us, that we weren't gonna overcome this obstacle, and we have it. So, I always look up. There's a silver lining somewhere. You just gotta have some patience.
A virtue that paid off. In Greenville, Brittany Creamer, WITN News.
Well, Knight tells us he plans to be back on the court in late October. He'll be on the sidelines helping coach the girls until he's fully recovered. Well, you're all up to date now on your weekend news from around eastern North Carolina. Now let's check in with meteorologist Matt Eichelbright for the forecast. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a meteorologist if I didn't talk about a meteor shower. We do have a meteor shower going on this weekend. It peaked last night, but you could still see a couple overnight tonight. Now keep in mind your eyes take 15 minutes to adjust, and with any meteor shower, it's not one of those things you can run outside, look at the sky, and run back in. You got to be patient and give yourself about an hour to sit outside. Now, that being said, moonrise is at 12:49, but it'll set at 11:16. Best window is after that moon goes down, so it's going to be a late one, midnight to tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about your 7-day forecast coming up just after. Jump on over to the graphics over on Facebook. I asked a question. I just was curious whether or not the leaves were changing in your area. Sarah, besides having one of the creepier profile pictures on there, mentioned that the leaves are starting to turn in Kinston. There are a few here and there that are pretty, but mostly they're just brown. Well, they are changing in other locations too. Let's go over to the graphics, or I should say the video. We have some beautiful leaves changing colors. This is in Plymouth, Washington County, so keep your eyes out if those leaves are starting to change. They've really turned over to the western part of the state in the higher elevations. Grandfather Mountain, beautiful camera, picked up some very nice colors. But this is locally, Plymouth, Washington County, a couple of the berries and leaves changing over. There are some brown ones out there, also some crunchy ones. I have a bad habit of always trying to step on the crunchy brown ones that are on the ground. Let's go over to the graphics, talk about your forecast. Enough fun this morning. Let's get serious about the weather. Weather Authority forecast is all quiet, not much going on. In fact, temperatures are very reasonable. I pushed this up towards the north. There was a little bit out there on the radar up towards the Virginia, North Carolina border, but all that has subsided.